My name is Ron Ferguson, and I'm going to talk about what effect violent video games have in America and what would happen if we basically banned first-person shooter violent video games. So first of all, I'm going to get into a little history. Basically, in recent studies, there has found no significant evidence that violent video games directly lead to teen violence. So what can we do to help better educate and maintain our economy instead of banning video games? So let's define a violent video game. So basically what a violent video game is anything that has to do with physical contact, any negative physical contact, roughhousing, even shooting, blowing stuff up, stealing, robbing, anything that defines the word violence, which is 90% of video games. Dating back to the 80s, video games like Mario, where you have a little character that goes to save a princess. Through that, he jumps on little creatures, makes them disappear, which indicates killing. So, since we have such a broad spectrum of violent video games, that also causes the no correlation between a direct cause of teen and adult violence. So, let's introduce children. So, overall, children are developing their mind at such a young age. So, we want to not introduce these shooting video games. We want to introduce problem-solving video games, which do exist. So, when we introduce these problem-solving video games, which are basically all video games, we are developing their mind. We're showing them what's good and what's bad, what's right and what's wrong. And then once they get up to the teenager age, we're still kind of teaching them what's right and what's wrong. So the gaming industry has 3 different groups: E for everyone, T for teen, and M for mature. So they set these regulations because they understand the mental health of children versus adulthood. So if we teach children what's right and what's wrong, we can make sure that when they do get to play these video games, these first-person shooter video games, such as Halo and Call of Duty, Infinite Warfare, then they will understand what is a video game and what is real life. So I have seen parents walk into a GameStop and buy a 12-year-old an M for mature game, which is very common in America right now. This is not a good idea. There's a reason why gaming industries set these different age groups, because of the effect it has on mental health. To prove that there's an effect on mental health from video games, we can see it in a positive light. When children, teenagers, and even adults start playing video games, it helps increase their problem-solving skills, and it also helps develop reflexes and observation skills in a very positive way. So since we have this positive light, this can be pushed and used effectively instead of the opposite, where we introduce the violent video games at the young age. If we do and show these children these killing, shoot 'em up video games at such a young age, this develops a normality. This develops as this is okay to do. Not necessarily that this is okay to do, that this is normal. We do this, which does not help the violence overall in America. So what should we do? What should we do about this? The gaming industry, businesses in the gaming industry, parents, everyone should understand the difference between, mental health, addiction, and illness. So here's the solution. The solution is to keep those regulations every day. Don't stray from those guidelines, those regulations that gaming industries have set a time for, physical health versus mental health. If we develop, self-control and a regulation of game time at such a young age through teenagehood, and this can be maintained in adulthood. Since I was regulated when I was younger, and when I played video games when I was younger, I can have self-control now, and I know how to maintain my physical health by going outside, doing my schoolwork, and then also benefiting my mental health by playing these video games at a set time. So if we, have these regulations, if we develop these regulations in such a young age, which also develops regulations such, as raising your hand, don't chew with your mouth open. Those kind of simple things that lead into adulthood can be used for video games. So if we do not educate, suppose we do ban violent video games, or suppose we do ban shooter games, that would have a negative effect on the economy. Businesses such as Blizzard Entertainment, EA Sports, Ubisoft, 343 Industries, they all have some kind of games where you kill either a bad guy or a creature or just anything. Any kind of shooting violence, any kind of violence whatsoever. These industries would lose a lot of money. They would lose, a lot of workers. This would decrease jobs, and this would not help the economy in any ways. It would actually decrease the economy since we have such a wide gaming industry. We have such a huge gaming industry that there are many school clubs, many college clubs, tournaments, that help fundraise for different college funds, help people gain money. And even YouTubers rely on these games because they make their living off of playing these games and reviewing them for the gaming industry and being paid for that. So a lot of people would lose jobs, lose income, and overall it just would not be good for the economic health of America. So overall, I hope I hope I've shared a good solution. I hope that this has created a understanding and a good outcome of why we shouldn't ban these games, why we should understand, like we need to teach and understand movies. We need to keep with the regulations. We need to make sure that our mental health is aligned with the positive side of gaming. And this actually helps businesses. So I hope this was insightful, and I hope that we have a better understanding of video games in America. Thank you.